Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Snom. Today's host is Corey Cather, and he is their channel account manager for us, and he is presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box so Corey can answer them at the end of today's presentation. Corey, thank you so much for being with us today and bringing your latest information and sharing it. Looking forward to it. I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you for having me. I appreciate the time to talk about our product a little bit here. Primarily today, we're focusing on our wireless product. We have three different options for wireless solutions, and they work in office, warehouse, retail, restaurant, all kinds of different locations, in addition to our desk sets. So we'll go through it brief. We'll try to keep it quick, light. It is me today. I don't have my technical partner as I normally do, so I'll try to get through here fairly quickly, and we can get to some question and answer at the end as well. So again, my name's Corey with Snom. And one of the things that we want to focus on today is our new M500 Pro series. Our M500 is a new wireless solution. It is using DECT, and it is a DECT base that will support up to 10 phones. And these are desk phones and or handsets. So a single base will support up to 10 phones, and those M55 handsets do have 6 programmable keys on them, and that M58 desk phone is wireless. It does require power to be plugged in, but it is wireless. It gives you flexibility to be able to use it in a small office as well as in, again, retail, restaurant. We'll touch on a couple of things here, but easy deployment for chains and things like that. This is just kind of a small sample of some of the verticals that it does go well into. We have these type of phones in restaurant chains. They do actually go into other things like florist chains, dental chains, veterinarian chains, pizza chains. There's a lot of potential for where these type of phones can go. And I'll explain briefly, these are key line type products, which we'll touch on here as well. So the one thing is, it is a DECT solution. They are wireless. They can work like a standard endpoint. One thing that makes it unique is that it is a key system. You can have a single seat come in to the phone system and be able to ring all of the phones. So what happens is, if you see the close-up of this picture, one is green on here on both handsets and the desk set on one. So Pizza Shop 1 ringing, Pizza Shop Roger ringing, they're all ringing. So you can answer the phone from any of those, they answer the call from any of those phones. Once it is picked up by any of those phones, it will go to a red indicator that that call has been picked up. If there's another call coming in, it would light up line 2. It truly does work like a key system using DECT. And it's going to be able to monitor when that call is on hold, when it's being answered. But what it'll do is, again, you can put that call back on hold. It's not a park, it's not a retrieve. It will actually let you put it on hold, where you can then intercom or shout over to somebody else where they need to pick up that call. So this is really intended to be a nice, easy solution, again, for restaurant retail, for just replacing old POTS lines, but even just a modern solution for a mobile DECT solution for mobile handsets. So it can do a lot. It can do different things, but the bottom line is it makes life easier for those folks that need to be able to move quickly and have hands-free solutions for their phones. So what this does also is you can pair 2 of these DECT bases together. Pairing 2 of them allows you to do up to 16 phones. Also will give you a larger footprint. You can have up to 8 concurrent calls going at the same time. And then you can pair different things to it. Obviously, right now it's just the handset and the desk set. There will be a rugged version of the handset coming out later this year, but anything that's part of the system will be able to expand. And this is just really a key reminder, because as much as we talk about this, this is one thing that really is big. This truly is a wireless desk phone, and it's pretty unique in the industry. In that, again, there's no Ethernet connected to it. You do need the base to be able to have it function or run, but with the base and multiple desk sets, you can implement this into a small office solution. Adding the handsets gives you more flexibility. But again, even in and I keep using restaurant, but in a restaurant solution, you can have one in the back office, you can have one at the front desk, and you can have a couple of them for the hostesses walking around serving people, or for the wait staff serving people. So it gives you flexibility on being able to just drop in a solution. It is really, the M58 is really a nice, beautiful screen that has programmable keys on the face. Some of the things, it does have an integrated Bluetooth, so you can pair a Bluetooth headset. Antibacterial plastic is something that's not new to us per se, but new to the industry. As VTech does own Snom, they have had antibacterial plastics in their hotel phones. So you may have seen at some point VTech phones in your hotel room. Those are using antibacterial plastics, where they are a non-porous plastic that won't adhere to bacteria. We've implemented those into our M500 series, which is the M58 again, M55 again. So the antibacterial plastics are a big deal, especially for somebody who's handing things off on a regular basis. But again, the integrated Bluetooth also allows you flexibility not to have to handle the handset if you don't want to. Again, in the handset, as far as feature-wise, some of the key features: a nice big color screen, 2.4-inch color screen. You have 3 soft keys below the screen, which are hard to see on this image. But again, the 2 key things that make this a really neat product are the 6 programmable LED line keys. Those are line keys, so you can have calls come in, again, that they're shared, that you put them on hold, have somebody else pick them up. They're also programmable keys, so they don't have to be line keys. They can be programmed for other functions. So if you don't want to use it like a key line, you can program those to do just standard phone functions. And then again, Bluetooth. This handset does have Bluetooth, which, even though this is cordless, it does allow you the flexibility to slip this onto your belt and then use a Bluetooth headset to pair with it and walk around. And again, for people working in warehouse, working in in retail, people who would need their hands, that does give them flexibility to do that as well. And this just shows simple. You have the ability to expand from going from 1 to 2 and increase your footprint and your total number of phones. And again, no Ethernet connection is required for the desk phones, just need the base. So quickly here, this is getting a little bit technical, not too technical, but if you do want to see how the keys can be programmed, there's PFK1, PFK2, PFK3. These are where you can adjust them to whether they're keyline or different functions. So if you do want to program those keys to be just simply keyline 1 through 6, you can do that. If you want to program them to show, PFK3 to be paging, you can do that. So there's different functions you can set these keys up to be. You're not limited to showing that it is like it's the next generation of keyline, because it will do keyline, but it'll do more. It'll do other things if you don't want it to do that as well. And I will call out you can do a combination of things. So you can have the first 4 key lines be true key lines, and then you can have line 5 and 6 be its own direct line for that phone. You can have it be, some other type of, monitoring that you're doing on there as well. So the setup on this, again, this may come up questions later, but I'll head this off. As far as setting up the 2 bases, there's different ways you can do it. You can either do it directly through the LAN switch, so each one is wired directly into the LAN switch, or you can daisy chain them. So you can go in and out of the first one and connect it to the second one. Either way is acceptable. They will pair together that way. So however you do it, either you're going through the PoE or LAN switch, or you're connecting from one base to the other. Either way works. And in summary, obviously, these are some of the things that we did talk about. You can have up to 10 phones on a single base, 16 phones on 2. and register up to 2 bases together. When you go to the desk set, obviously that's a nice large 5-inch color screen, programmable key. And the big thing is, again, antibacterial, Bluetooth in both, and programmable keys. And again, programmable keys in a handset is not that common, especially that many programmable keys in a handset. So this is the M100 series. This is our original series. So that series, the M500 series, is pretty exciting. It's a newer set. It is the next generation of what was our first keyline system. And yes, it does not look quite as modern, but we've also done a couple things here. This allows you to do 4 keys. This hits a much more competitive price point. So if you just need a simple mobile decked solution, this is a great solution. And our pricing has recently come down on this. So this is, again, worth a second look. This is in different, again, some different restaurant chains, things like that. This is an easy deployment and is certified on most platforms. And it will also make things a little more competitive if you need to be price competitive. You only can use 1 base. You can connect up to 10 handsets, and you can have up to 8 zip accounts and 6 concurrent calls. So you do have 4 line keys on here, and you can do the same thing with this. You could have, say, 4 of the line keys be true line keys, and then another, the 4th one be its own direct line. So you can do a hybrid where it's its own endpoint as well as sharing the line keys as well. So this has been successful. Again, understand it doesn't look quite as modern as the M500, but the concept is there, and that's what we built on, and this has been successful. And then the next version is just that much more exciting. And I do say only 1 base because that's actually quite common, but again, with the M500, you have flexibility. And with our M900, it expands even more beyond that. So this just shows a close-up of, again, how the key lines work, but they are programmable for not the same functionality as the M500, but they are programmable for some limited functionality. So the M900 series is more of a rugged enterprise warehouse type solution. So most of these handsets are ruggedized. We've expanded recently. The M900 is the standard base, which allows you to have 1,000 of those bases paired together. So you can have, as you can imagine, quite a large footprint. Each base will support up to 30 handsets. So you can have up to as many as 4,000 handsets in a deployment or installation. The new part to this is we've actually introduced the M900 Outdoor, which is a piece to support if you need to run, if you're on a campus, if you're on a warehouse, a sales, like an auto dealership, that sort of thing. The outdoor base will allow you to maintain the coverage. And again, this is using DECT, so you would be able to keep it on its own platform, its own frequency. You're not interfering with any other systems that you might have. So the M900 Outdoor is new. That gives you the flexibility to be able to continue the signal outdoor if you have that capability to run those outside. The M400, again, is a new product as well. And that is a new base that is a single cell base and allows you to use the same handsets, but in a smaller deployment. So again, it is going to be less expensive, be able to allow you to use handsets where you don't necessarily need to scale or multi-cell by adding multiple bases together. So it's a nice solution that allows you to pair the more simple handsets, or let's say you need a very rugged handset in a small area. That gives you more flexibility to be able to compete in the price range. So we won't go through these specifically, but as you can see, there is an M90, which is an antibacterial DECT handset that is IP65 rated. These are nice, rugged, small handsets. They have the M90, 80, and 70 are Bluetooth. In addition, they do have a 3.5 millimeter headset jack, so you can connect something to those phones as well. The M30 is our new model. It's the new entry-level handset, and that one does have programmable keys. It does not have Bluetooth, but it does still have the headset jack in there as well. And again, that one is obviously trying to hit a competitive price point. It does not have the same, it's very rugged, but it doesn't have the same type of rugged certification as in like the 2-meter drop or even the IP65 rating. So these are all the handsets that would go with the M900 series, which is more of the enterprise system. And bear with me, I'm still here. So this is kind of a sample deployment of where you would put bases, where you would put handsets. It truly does allow you to have seamless mobility throughout the office, throughout the hospital. We have put these in hospitals where they've put bases all around to make sure they have coverage, not just inside, not in just every room, but say outside if somebody steps out for, hard to believe, but some people still step outside for a cigarette or what have you. So they want to make sure they have coverage everywhere, obviously inside the building and outside. So there are some other places you can do it. The handsets have a built-in site survey capability. So basically what you can do is you can walk around with that. It'll tell you how far away or how strong your signal is from the base. And to truly implement this and ensure you have full coverage, the best way to do it with this system is to do a site survey. And that'll help you determine where you want to put bases and where you'd want to ensure you have coverage. So PA1, been around for a long time. We did recently make an upgrade to it. It's called the PA1 Plus. We added a 600 ohm output, support for open SSH, and we've upgraded the chipset. So it actually matches one of the phones. It's the chipset that we used in the D735 series, one of our desk phones that we've had for a bit. So it actually, it's just a more modern chipset that's more easily accessible. Other than that, it's the same PA1. It's the same hardware that you see on the outside that we've had for many, many years, let's just say. And to give you the D700 series is our desk phones that have been around for a while. They are now Zoom certified. And one thing I'll call out, they do have a 3-year warranty as well. So all of our desk sets have a 3-year warranty, and that's included in just the normal purchase it from any authorized Snom partner. So the 3-year warranty is an advanced replacement warranty. So we will replace, they'll do troubleshooting, they'll replace if they need to. And it's something that we're proud of ourselves because we also have live support. We have support you can reach by email, by phone. And our support, I think if you talk to anybody that's actually worked with our support, is exceptional. So they do a great job of being responsive and hopefully you don't have any issues, but should you, our support is very responsive. The one phone that I'll call it in this one is our D785. We have a D785 and a D75N. So there's basically a Bluetooth version and a non-Bluetooth version. So this phone has been kind of our flagship. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, we use the solid state hook switch. So we don't have any wear and tear there. As far as reliability, it's a very stable way to go. Nice 4.3 inch screen. And then you've got separately, so it doesn't take up room on your call action area, you have the BLFs down below on the right hand side. So you've got a secondary screen for the BLFs. So this does also have a dedicated key for a headset. And again, there's 2 versions. One has Bluetooth built in, one doesn't. It does have a USB port though, so even if you get the non-Bluetooth version, you can get a headset that's paired to a specific headset and use the USB port. So it depends on who you talk to. A lot of people will go that route anyway. They're using either a headset that has a built-in Bluetooth dongle or comes with a dongle, and again, you can just plug that into the USB port. Quick overview. So I'm going to step back a little bit. I did use this slide for one of our Canadian partners. You'll see some white phones in here in the D785 and the D735, and just to address the white elephant in the room, those are not necessarily available everywhere in the US. If you have an interest, please let us know. And we can, if you have the right opportunity, we can make sure you have access to those. But it's not something that's readily available through all of our channels in the US. They are manufactured, we can get them. So again, if you have the right opportunity, let us know. But to hit on the D785 is the one, again, that has the Bluetooth. There's an N version of it. And then the 735 is a pretty full-featured phone. Smaller screen, but you do have 32 PFKs, and you have USB port. So it's a pretty competitive phone to be able to give you that many programmable keys in it. And then just to touch on a couple other things, we have a new D7C expansion module, well, new being almost a couple years out now. And then we have a Wi-Fi dongle that is for the Snom phones. It'll work with other items as well, but the A210 is a Wi-Fi dongle, and then the A230 is our DEC dongle that will allow you to pair it with our speakerphone. Without going into too much of those, I'll go ahead and skip forward here on a couple other smaller items. The conference phones we've got are the C620 and the C520. The C620 is decked, so it will go decked wireless. Both of them have decked wireless mics. Those can be put anywhere. Again, these all have 3-year warranty. We've recently reduced the pricing on our conference phones as well, so they're worth taking another look on as well to be very competitive. So on the conference phones themselves, you should see some improved competition there. And then really we've got our headsets, which these have been out for a while, and we've got some new ones coming. The A100M is a solid lightweight solution. I used one of these for a couple of years, but they work very well. They are wired. They do have an inline connection. They come with, or there's different ways you can connect them. There's an accessory that you can use a USB connection or 3.5 or 2.5 connection to them, but it does have inline mute, volume control, and everything like that as well. The new models, which I have not personally played with the A330 yet, but I've heard some great things about them so far. And again, they're very competitive price-wise. They are wired. They do have the inline controls. There's a mono and a dual, but those are USB. So again, they can be used with a USB connection to the phone, like all the D700 series have, or they can plug into your into your other sources that have USB as well. And then the A170 is a decked, so it's a small lightweight deck solution that you'll be able to plug into different modes of connection as well. So you'll be able to connect into it with the like the RG9 or the USB connection as well. So just to wrap up, we do have some easy ways to get information. Obviously, our website is snomamericas.com. One great way to find additional detail is our Snom Service Hub, service.snom.com. That will provide additional detail. If you're interested in becoming a partner, you can go to partner.snomamericas.com. And then really one of the big things we highlight is we do actually have, and it's truly is live support. So we have staff that will either answer the phone or you leave a message and they will call you back. Generally, we'll say within 24 hours, but it's usually pretty quick. And you can reach them by email or by the phone number that's listed on there as well. My name's Corey, Channel Account Manager. Simon was originally he's done these with me before, and he was originally going to join me. He wasn't able to make it today, but Simon is one of our sales engineers, and again, that's one of our strengths is we have a team of sales engineers which will help with the cloud service providers through interop testing. If anything comes up or if there's a specific deployment that we want to make sure it runs smoothly, we can engage our sales engineers. Just to touch on a couple of things that we did as well, we also inventory our products in San Antonio. So our warehouse is in San Antonio where we ship things, and then we ship things to the distributors from there. And that's an advantage, having things on hand, having things more quickly. But we do have that state-of-the-art distribution center that's actually in San Antonio. And again, all of our phones have a 3-year warranty. It's true of decked, it's true of desk phones and conference phones. But we do have some unique items in the market. But again, we've got a full coverage of phones themselves that's a little different than some of the other players out there. So I think that I was able to get that through that within the half an hour, Julie. So hopefully that gives us enough time to do some Q&A. And I appreciate everybody for listening and the attention that you gave to Snom here.
Corey, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. And thank you so much for touching on contact information, warranty information, and even the warehouse that's in Texas. That's fantastic. And those are very common questions. So you just touched on a lot of important things right there toward the end. And I do have some questions for you. If you're ready, we'll get started with
Excellent.
the first one. Okay, here we go. What is the target market or ideal use case for the M500 Pro series?
So there's a couple places that makes a lot of sense. So, you've probably heard me say restaurant retail several times, but that worked well for a couple reasons. One is to be able to have somebody on a phone go park, retrieve, send. It's a little complicated when you're in the fast paced or loud world, right? You want to be able to just answer it, have somebody else pick it up. When you're using the key line where again, you can answer it, you can just put it back on hold. You can intercom or holler, hey, Julie, pick up line 2, and you can just pick it up. It just makes life much easier. But we've actually deployed these in just small offices. So if you have 4 employees and or you're not sure you have wiring to all the locations, or you've got one location that's way off in the back, you can deploy these in a small office that's just 4 phones, 8 phones with one of the bases and with one of these phones. You're kind of unlimited, but the verticals that make sense are going to be the small office, even small to medium office, and again, we say restaurant retail, but retail can be a lot of things. Retail is also service industry. So it can be automotive, repair. It can be, just muffler shop. It can be, pizza shop. There's a lot of different places where this makes sense and is being implemented, but also being looked at by a lot of different people out there as well. So it's a good vertical to go after, I think, which can help grow your business for sure.
Thank you, Corey. Excellent answer and
Sorry for
overview of
that. I
that.
know that was
Next
probably more
question.
longer
Yeah.
winded than expected, but apologies.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Thank you. Next question here for you. What is the range and coverage capability of the M500 Pro base station?
Excellent and loaded question at the same time. So with DECT, it is completely environmental, right? So I could say if you're in an open field and nothing's in the way, you could get up to 500 feet. Is that realistic for a closed office environment that has, iron walls or something? No. So the only way you're truly going to know is being inside there. Now, is it easy? You're going to get 150, 250 feet. Should be able to, but it truly is environmental, depending on what's in there. Again, in an open field, in an completely open area, it is possible you could get as much as 500 feet, but the realistic inside an office is going to limit the range somewhat. Now, DECT does have the advantage that it does have strong range. The nice thing about the M500 is multi-cell. So, and dual cell, apologies. So you can run, if you're in a spot where you don't quite have enough range, you can just simply add another base without necessarily having to add more phones, and that will just give you more range.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Corey. Sliding right into the next question here for you.
All right.
Can you give us an overview and explain the supported call management features on the M500 Pro handsets?
So call management, as in, I guess I'm not sure exactly what that, but I'll try to answer that the best I can. There's different ways it can handle it, right? If you're talking about keyline, what it would do is a call would come in, and it would be so there'd be a number, for example, that it would just come into that phone number, and that number is shared with all of the handsets that are tied to that base, right? So there's one seat. Well, all of those handsets that are tied to that base that are set up in keyline mode will ring. Let's say you have 16 phones. All 16 phones, line 1 will ring. The number 1 will light up. So when you answer that on any of those, the other 15 phones will show that that's red. It'll show line 1 is being talked to. So that person on that phone could then hit the hold button, and now it's going back to blinking on all of the phones. Somebody else can pick it up, same thing. Then that'll be red. Another call comes into that same phone number, the same seat. It is going to light up number 2, and number 2 will go through the same process. And you can do that up to 6 times. So you can have up to 6 people talking on the phone, and all 6 be lit up. But it works truly like a key system, and it's one of those things. It's challenging to explain how it can work, but it does work like think old phones and how they used to work. It works that way. To complicate it even more, and I apologize, it can work where each phone is its own phone number. So it can also work where you can program it so you have 16 phones, and they've all got their own lines. So there's different ways it can call, or a hybrid of them. So it works like an old key line system, but it also can work like a modern mobile device.
Excellent. Thank you, Corey. This next question might be related to what you just answered. I'm going to read it off to you, and
Okay.
you let me know. So the question is there a centralized management interface for multiple base stations and handsets?
Yes. So, however, that's a good question that I don't know that I can answer completely fully. I might have to get back to you on that one. So there is that slide that I had earlier, and I can see if I can jump back to it here. It does show you the base is where you control kind of the handsets and the functions through. So when you're adding a second one, what I don't know is if you're still going through the primary one or if you have to go into each of them separately. I believe you can still go into the primary one. I just don't want to tell you incorrectly, so I'd want to refer to my tech team here. But I'm going to, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to jump back and show this slide briefly. Somewhere in here that shows you the web GUI of the base of the M500. So it's showing you the M55 programmable keys on the left, that's the decked handset. So it's showing you how you would set up the keys on the drop down on the left hand side, and on the right hand side is showing an M58 programmable key setup. But those are all done through the web GUI, which is done through the M500 base. So hopefully that answers. If not, let me know, but hopefully that answers the question.
No problem. Thank you, Corey, very much. And yes, if you need to move around the slides that you showed us, we're happy to see it. Thank you so much. Next question here for you. Let's see here. Can the M500 Pro system work seamlessly with other PBX systems or communication platforms?
The M500 is interrupt tested on many platforms. It is not fully interrupt tested on all platforms. Now, can you use it on all platforms? Absolutely. It's a standard set program, but it doesn't necessarily. It's not necessarily yet all on all of the drop-down menu options for all of the service providers out there. We're working on it, but it can be. Now, whether you have a custom template or you set it up yourself, obviously there's lots of ways to do it. But as far as the initial provisioning goes, you may, until it is certified with them, you may have to do a couple extra steps yourself. But again, it's certified with lots of different people out there. I know, NetSapiens, other folks that it's already certified with. And then I apologize, Julie. I think I kind of went sideways. Can you repeat the question? So there was another point in there.
Oh, sure.
That I think I wanted to address.
No problem. The question was, can the M500 Pro system work seamlessly with other PBX systems or communication platforms? I think you did answer, actually.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll address though is you can use it with other phones and everything like that. But it is intended to be kind of a self-contained system if you're using the keyline portion of it, right? So the keyline part of it is meant to go with just the phones that are in there. If you did add a couple of desk phones, they wouldn't be able to be part of that key system. Sure, you can have another 3 phones that aren't part of this that have their own direct lines, but it's not going to be part of the key system.
Excellent, thank you. Next question here for you. Does Snom offer assistance with system designs for a first-time user, for example?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a published policy per se, but absolutely. I mean, and we hope you do. If you have questions or you're not sure, there's a couple options we have. You've got kind of lines of defenses. One is me. We're happy to help you kind of figure out, will this work here? And you get into like the M900, there are things we can look at it and give recommendations. Obviously, the only true way to know when you get into a multi-cell solution is to do a site survey. That's the only way to guarantee it, but we can definitely make recommendations for you as well as far as what you might need. But just to kind of give advice, just to help provide a quote, we're more than willing to do that. And when we get to the scale where if we want to bring in Simon or one of our sales engineers, we can definitely do that as well. So we have resources. We're more than willing to help out.
Excellent, thank you. Couple more questions. Can a user control their Snom phone remotely?
So we have our SRAP provisioning. You can provision it. We don't currently have a separate device management system for it. So there's not necessarily monitoring that is done remotely, but you can provision remotely through, again, if the service provider has it set up, but we do have our SRAPs provisioning server as well that you can sign up for, they'll give you access to, so you can provision.
Excellent, thank you. Last question here for you, Corey, and it's regarding the warranty, which I believe you said 3 years, if that's correct?
Correct, that's correct. Yep.
Okay. Question here is, how would a customer easily know if their phone is still covered by the warranty?
That's a good question. There's not necessarily an easy answer for that. But if you would need to talk to support, and they can generally let you know, from MAC address, serial number, or whatever it is you've got on there as well. But what they'll do is they will, again, try to troubleshoot first. And then if they're not able to, or they definitely determine there's an issue with the phone itself, that's when they would swap it. But to answer your question, I don't know that you can look at a phone and say, this is a 2.5-year-old phone. But for the most part, the purchases are made within 3 years. It's really not an issue, and you're not going to get too much of a hard time from our folks in support.
Thank you so much for answering all of those questions for us today, and also thank you for everyone attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, of course, please feel free to contact our sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned and shown today, please remember this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel, so we can all watch it again, zoom in on all the products and everything we did here today. Corey, again, thank you for your time. I'm going to reach out to Snom and see what you guys are doing in a couple of months, all right? Maybe at year end or something like that.
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yay! Looking forward to that. So we'll get you online again so that we can talk about what you got new coming up. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. Everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you.
Thank you.